back to my channel. I see I didn't turn my light on there. Now you guys are in the light again. And welcome to our final episode of Create a Journal with me, Journal Making 101. And I thought what I would do is just kind of go through a little bit here. We're going to work on some tags and some journal cards, but I thought, you know, you might know how to do that already. So I thought I'd just give you a few ideas. This one here is, I have a series that I do once a week, every Saturday. It's called Scrap, Stash, and Mayhem. And this is the one that I did 2 weeks ago. And this is just turning an envelope into a house and a little pocket. And I'm going to glue this right in. So that's an idea of something to do. And then this tag, it's again another one that I did in that series. And this here I did with a book page. And then I just took some paint, some acrylic paint, and I just put that on here so that you can actually write on here. So that's an idea. And this here is another book page. I use a lot of book pages. And again, I use the ink or the paint on there so that it can actually, you can write on it. And then another thing to do is, of course, I used a digital with my journal here, but layering up your tags and using paper clips. Paper clips are an amazing little tool in a journal. I use them all the time, but just layer them up. And you stick that into the pocket, it gives added interest. And then this here, I have a tall skinny, and I'll show you when we do the flip through. But I just took these. I bought this at, I think, Dollarama, I think it was, or Dollar Tree, I don't know, one of the dollar stores. I just cut it to fit and paper clip it together, and that gives a little extra writing space and whatnot. And then these here are some clusters that I did in another one of those videos. And I just used a book page, and this would be like a tab, could go on the side of the page for a tab, but we're going to do something different with that. And this is just a cluster that I created. This here is something unexpected, I tell ya. I don't know if you would know what I did here, but anyways, this is this Saturday. This is what we're going to be doing on Saturday. So if you want to know how I did this, come and watch me. But anyways, that's going to go in the journal. And then with the tags, once you've created your tags, you don't always have to do the little hole punch in the ribbon. You can do some fun things like this. Make a cluster to go on top. And I'm just going to glue this one right in here so it's dry by the time I'm wanting to use it. Like so. And then that just creates, especially when you have it in a pocket, that just adds a little extra layer of yumminess. And then with this one here, I thought I would do my little cluster that I made as a tab, and it can just go right over top. So it could be a tab, it could be a tag topper, it could be just on a page, it could, so many different uses, and just using things, not necessarily digital, but just, you know, using things that you maybe have in your stash. This here comes from a bag of oranges, I think it was. Okay, so then I created this one, and this is just me collaging with things that I have. I can see that, thinking it might want to stay there. But anyways, this is just a cheap old index card from the Dollar Tree. And I thought we would make one together, and then we'll do the closure on the journal. And I'm just going to take, this is just El Cheapo glue. It may wrinkle the paper because there is water in this. That's why it's an El Cheapo one, because there's a lot of water. It's watered. It's just a school glue is what it is. And this here was just out of my stash. You could use a magazine page, a book page, music book page, whatever. There's so many different ways of doing things. I'm just going to take that off there like so. And then I'm just going to round my corners. And then I think I'm going to ink because, you know, I like to ink. You know, let's use the blue. There's more blue in here. And this will need a little bit of time to dry. Once the glue dries, even when you use the school glue, once it dries, it creates a nice solid tag or journaling card, whatever you're doing. And if you want to do just a little bit of interest on here, you can just kind of, so it's not plain white. And I think what we're going to do is leave that like so for now, because I have this little piece here, and I thought, well, let's just do this on here just to give it another little bit of interest. Like so. I'm going to take this side down. And then I'll know where to put this. Cut this guy. That'll be good. Punch this corner. So that's just a bunch of different ideas of different ways. And like I said, most of those are in my series that I'm doing called Scrap Stash and Mayhem. And if you're interested in learning the process for that, come and join me there. I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of this video. Okay. So we have this here, and I'm going to put my tag on. This is the one that comes with the kit, but you can use anything, fold anything in half. If we can do this, let's just do this. Let's fold this in half. Gives me a little butterfly. You can take a piece of a book page and fold it in half. Create a tab. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And because I am trying so hard to use up my stash, I found this little girl playing with a doll, and I thought, well, she's playing in her garden with her baby, with her little baby doll. I'm just going to put her right about there. And I can put a garden right in here, but I don't know if I want to. We could do this. Let's do this. I'm just going to fold it around the top, well, around there, like so. Somebody wants to see what it says, they have to flip it over. The only thing with using the school glue is it takes a little bit of time. Put that right in there. Why not? Butterflies are my favorite, as you can see. is not going to come for me, is it? Okay, come on now. Okay. Maybe this, but there he is. There he is. No, it's not. Maybe this butterfly just doesn't want to be here. But anyways, you kind of get the gist of it. So I will work on this off screen because this isn't going to happen. This is not going to happen. Okay. Oh boy. Oh, I think there's somebody at my door. Oh dear. Hold on. All right, I'm back. And I took the time to get my sticker on there. So it finally worked. Okay, so I thought what I would do is, let's put a closure on this because as you can see, I have got quite the thick little journal going here. Kind of not as gator mouth as it could be, but still kind of a little bit of a gator mouth. So I was not successful at not creating a gator mouth. But anyways, so I thought I would do this. This is some lace that I had hanging around. I went through my stash and this little doily. So I thought I would just take and make it kind of even like so. Make these both come through here, even it up. You could put beads on here at the ends if you wanted, but I'm not going to. There we go. That's about where I want it to be. And so now the glue that I'm going to use is this because I'm doing fabric. And this is really good glue for that. It stinks. It will ruin your fingernails if you get it on there, your paint. But if you're careful and don't mind the smell for the little bit of time that you're going to smell it, it'll be okay. So I'm just going to take, and this isn't going to matter too much because as you can see, I got that big doily to cover things up. But I'm just going to glue it on the spine. Like this. Just like so. Make sure that we're straight front and back. I think so. Looks good. Okay, so ooh, glue. So now I'm just going to, oops, yeah, this one here. I'm just going to take and make sure that I got my doily the right way. And I'm just going to run it around here. So I want this to be good and solid. And I'm just going to put this in here first, get it in place, and then I'll glue the rest of it. Okay. Big journal, very big journal. And that's what I like. I like big chunky ones. I'm a chunky girl, so I like a chunky journal. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up right about like so. Put it in the center here. There we go. Kind of sort of eyeballing it. Not really being perfect about it, but okay. There we go. Press that down and then put that like so. Let's get this back glued in here now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to glue, I think I'm going to glue this ribbon down just this little bit. I don't want to glue it on where there is nothing's going to be covering it because I don't want the glue to look like it's going through there. And this will just disguise it all. Little bits on each piece here. This glue, it doesn't take a lot. It just really is a good glue. Okay, and then we're going to take and do this over. Aileen's makes a fabric glue as well, but you gotta let, it's really wet and you gotta let it dry for 24 hours. And I think that's, it's a washable glue. You can, once you use it on your fabric, you can wash it, but I think that's why you have to let it sit for 24 hours. I don't like it as much as this one here. This is my go-to. It's not cheap, but it is effective. And that's sometimes what's more important, is that it's effective, doing the job you want it to do. Okay. And that's pretty. That makes a pretty spine too. And I'm just going to take and glue these little fleurs, I'll call them fleurs, down. Oh, you know what I just thought of? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I got a brainiac idea. I'll do it off camera though, and I'll show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to get everything stuffed in there, and then we will do a flip through, and we'll show off this little beauty. You won't even hardly know I'm gone, but I'll be gone for a little while. Alrighty, so see you in a minute, or a second, or right away. Alrighty. All glue is dry and this little baby is done. Let's have a peekaboo and see what I did. Okay. And I created a chunky monkey, and that's what I do. I create big journals. But not very often I do small ones. Now this here will lay flat. It just needs to get used a bit. So we did a pocket. I did a pocket first. And this is one that I made on my series Scrap, Stash, and Mayhem. I had to think about that for a minute. And I used a lot of papers that I had dyed previously. And a paper bag. Well, we went through that when we started, when we were putting the journal together, didn't we? So we just want to look at the stuff that I made. So this is the stuff that we talked about this morning, and I turned this page into a pocket. And then this one here is another one of those items that I made in my scraps and stash, and but using the kit. This kit is most beautiful. I love this kit. You don't have to have a kit to do a journal. It's just some pretty pages, right? This makes, I think, just adds to the beauty of a journal. And some torn edges. I love torn edges in a journal. And this is another thing that I made in that series as well. And I used the bingo card as the pocket. Lots of pages in here. Look at that. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? I love that page. And then another pocket and just some things in there. Make it fun. Not just some of the collaging that we did. I did, or I don't know if I did. I don't remember if I did that on camera or not. But that's how, remember I said you'll see the material in between there. So that's why if you do a binding the way that I did it, you want to pick a pretty pattern material or whatever, something that you know that's going to look good, that you like. And then this is, I think I showed you this too. This is one of the makes from my Scrap, Stash, and Mayhem. And then this little guy. And then I turned this into a pocket. I did a tuck here, but it doesn't hold very well. This one does better. This one would do for little things, but I didn't have anything little. And then I just did a little collaging, but I wanted that little castle to be in the picture. And so this item here is another one of the things that I did in that series that I was talking about. And so it hides a page. So you can have like a hidden spot there where people wouldn't know that you had written something private in there. And here we go. And then this butterfly, this came in a package from Dollarama, I think it was. And I love those butterflies, and that gave me a use for them. This here is a paper that I created using my scraps. And then this is a little hidden paper clip. I made it look like that was for a challenge for a scrimping mummy, I think it was. Yes. Yes, that's her. That was one of her freebies. And then, oh, here, I didn't put anything in here yet. I don't have anything to put in there yet. I'll find something to put in there. But I just created this pocket, and I'll put something in there. But I wanted to leave it down so the kitties could be seen. And this, again, like I said, the paper clips are just really something that adds a lot to a book, a journal. It just kind of gives you that little extra, I don't know, just adds something to it, I guess. I like using paper clips. And those paper clips just happen to match. And then we have that. And then I just used, I don't know if I did that on screen. You know, it's hard with doing a series. It's hard to know what I did with you and what I didn't do. But anyways, that's just one of the pages, and I folded it and created a little pocket here and a pocket here. I like pockets. I like pockets. And then this here was a piece of paper that I had left over. I folded it in half and just stuck it inside here. And then this here was just something to create. I don't like the flap of an envelope just being in there, so I like to do something with it. So this one I just glued it in there so it became like a belly band. I will leave the link to this kit in the descriptions. I will also leave a link to the playlist of the Scrap Stash of Mayhem, just in case you want to have a peekaboo at what I do. And there's that butterfly all prettied up. This is what we're going to be doing on Saturday. And this envelope, this is the one that I cut to open this way instead of opening like an envelope. And this is one of the journal cards I had made a while back. I think we discussed that earlier. And then this piece here, I just took and made another belly band out of it. Some pages got lace. This is that one that we discussed earlier. This is one of my favorite pages. It's just nice. It has that feel to it. I like that. I'm gonna have to do that more often. I have some other pages. I'm gonna have to do that more often. And then this is the pocket that I put the little to-do list with the paper clip. I put that in there. And then the little house, put that in here with our tag that we did today. And in order to get the roof open, there we go. You just have to move the tag up a bit. There we go. And then this one here, this is that partial page. Let me move this over here a little bit more. That's that one that I made the pocket out of. So these are the tags that we did today. And you can still write, use that as a place to write. And then this here is, oh, it's 4 o'clock, puppy feeding time. This one here I turned into a little notebook and just stuck it in that one envelope. And then that opens up this way, gives us a little hiding spot there. And I think that's just about it. Yeah. So there she is in all her glory. She's a full-size girl, she is. And I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. make sure you head on over to Suzanne's. I'm off to go watch hers too. I think I love how she did hers, and I can't wait to see the final flip through. And this will mark the end of this series. And we're going to take November and December off. And we will see you back in January with something new. And if you have any suggestions of a series that you would like to see done, please leave it in the comments on either in my video here or on Suzanne's, whichever you so desire, and we'll make it happen. All right, thank you guys for joining me. Have yourselves an awesome rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.